it's Rebecca Mendoza from Rebecca and Company Real Estate Group. And today I'm shining my business spotlight on Nicole Scott from Goosehead Insurance. Welcome, Nicole.
Thanks, Rebecca. So glad to be here today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you because insurance is something that I don't know that a lot of people think is high up on the importance scale for real estate, but I'm finding right now it's one of the most important things. It's almost equal to getting your loan done. So thank you for being here and talking insurance today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So before we get into like the important stuff, this is important, but will you tell me a little bit about your you and your company and how long you've been doing insurance for?
Sure. So I've been in insurance for about 23 years. I started out my career with AAA for 5 years, and then I recently just came from Farmers Insurance. I was there for 18 years, and I recently opened up a Goosehead insurance franchise. And yes, that's exactly how it sounds, Goosehead. And I'm very excited to represent them. We represent 40 of the top carriers in California, and it really enables us to have an answer or a solution for every single situation on the homeowners insurance end.
So I know that you just changed companies, and I want you to tell me what is important about it for us as clients that you're at a new place that gives us all these options.
Great question. So, primarily because the homeowners insurance market has drastically changed, especially in the Santa Clarita area with all these fires that we've been having. Many insurance companies don't want that kind of risk on the books. So you're seeing a lot of non-renewals more than ever before, and even insurance companies that are getting completely out of the business because they simply can't afford to pay all these claims. So rather than just representing one insurance company like I did prior, so now we have, like I said, about 40 of the top carriers that has answers for every type of situation, whether it is a high fire area or a home that happens to have a lot of claims associated with it. So those are some of the main reasons.
Yeah, and that's why I'm connected with you is because when I moved into my house 5 years ago, I had AAA for like 20 years before that with my my car insurance, my homeowner's insurance, and I moved here. And a couple months in, they kicked me off and said, "Sorry, we're not going to insure you." And I even panicked a little bit. And then I'm so glad that having a broker involved could get me different options that weren't crazy expensive. That's my fear, was like, oh my gosh, my policies are going to triple or quadruple or whatever. And of course, I know with the fires and things, maybe they're higher, but not. You now have the option to be able to find the best solution for people.
Yes, and even if that ever changes in the future, as the insurance market is very fluid, just as I think every market is right now.
Yes.
But we do, you're never locked in with just one carrier, especially with Goosehead. So should something change, unfortunately, down the road, then we can always switch over and pivot to another company, and you can still have the same agent. So that's pretty nice.
Well, let me ask you this, because you brought it up, is in terms of like fires and things. One of the things that I think is important to note is sometimes we don't realize when we're looking for, well, I do when I'm showing people homes and they want to see certain things, I can usually tell, well, you're in a high fire zone or you're in a little bit less of a fire zone. I actually say, we're Santa Clarita, it's all high fire. But it makes a difference where you are in terms of your premium. And right now, you mentioned how things change with interest rates going up as much as they have. Right now, I'm finding like the most important thing is to find out, is that house that you like? Will you be able to afford your house with the insurance that you need? And we need to do that like before maybe even we write an offer. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I think that is one of the smartest things that a real estate agent can do, is make sure that their buyers know very, very beginning of the escrow process to solidify and at least shop insurance so they know exactly what they can afford. Over at Goosehead, we do have something. I feel there's many things that make us unique, but one of my favorite things is that we have this QR code. I think I've showed it to you before. And a client or a buyer can just, with their camera, click on that QR code and they can type in the address of the home they're looking at. And then literally within, probably 60 to 90 seconds, have access to about 5 or 10 different homeowners insurance quotes. So they can see whether or not this is something that's affordable and just get an idea of what they're looking at for premium.
So for my past clients and people I've sold homes to over the last, 20 years or so, would that tool be valuable for people who currently have homeowners insurance right now to maybe go and check what is happening against the policy that they have right now? Or is it only good for when people are looking to buy a home?
Definitely good for anybody. And obviously it's a smart idea to see, wow, I've been paying X amount for the past 5 or 10 years. And you may just be complacent and have no idea of what you really can be saving out there. So a tool such as that QR code is something it's super convenient. So it's something you can do on your own time and then without having to worry about, being sold or whatever. But, and then if the rates look good, then that's when you can pick up the phone and you can say, hey, I think that this is saving me money. And, what else can you do? So yes, at any time, not just for new homeowners.
Right. Because I know that, right now we're in fall 2022. We're going into fall 2022 is the time of this recording. And, people are concerned with inflation. We could be headed into a recession. And I think every penny counts for people right now, regardless if they're searching for a home or if they've been there for a long time. And maybe they should be reviewing their insurances with you, giving you a call and saying, this is what I have now. Can I save money in one place? And another thing maybe that we had discussed before is, am I insured enough? Or does my insurance that I have now match the deductible that I'm comfortable with paying? And taking a look at where their finances are now compared to maybe when they bought the home. They haven't re-upped or changed their insurance based on their lifestyle right now. Can you say something about that?
Yes, I completely agree. I think what happens is a lot of people, like I said, get complacent. They may have been with an insurance company or even an insurance agent that they really care for and trust, and they just have had the same policy year after year after year and have never taken the time, because there's just one less thing that they don't have to do of checking what their deductible is, checking what their premiums have gone up to, checking to make sure that their coverage has not completely changed. And especially over the last 2 years, insurance companies have been adding on endorsements, additional coverage that have removed some of the exclusions and things that weren't covered in the past. So that's another reason on top to make sure that you have the best policy for these times, not something that you may have put in force 5 or 10 years ago or longer.
Right. And another thing, one of the last things I want to talk to you about is, because of what's changed in real estate values and what's changed in insurance over the past 10 plus years, something that I personally hadn't thought about for a long time is earthquake insurance or other hazard insurance like flood we talked about. I might not think I need flood insurance, or I might not think I can afford earthquake insurance because X amount of years ago when I bought my house, those things weren't as important and I'm not in a flood zone. How is that kind of not a smart way to think?
Well, most of Santa Clarita is either directly over the San Andreas Fault or a fault line, or they're very, very close, or their properties in very close proximity to a fault line. So, none of us are immune for sure. And an earthquake is something that will happen. It's not something that we hope, I hope that never happens, like a fire or a theft or a burglary or something else that may happen to our home or a water claim. An earthquake will happen. It's just a matter of when. And then, of course, how significant that damage is going to be to your home. But we have to keep in mind that even if we do have significant damage to our property, and God forbid we have to walk away from that, like, many people have done throughout the years, especially for viewers that may have been around with the 94 earthquake, you're still responsible to pay the mortgage. So it's protecting your investment in a very, very smart way. Mm-hmm. And it used to be that you could only pay for these policies in full. That's changed. Many of the carriers now allow monthly payments or to be paid with credit card. It's definitely more affordable than it used to be.
Right. Yeah. I remember when I first got my home, it was just the amount of payment that I had to do combined with the deductible. And when I had to pay it, it was just like, well, I don't have very much equity in my house at this moment anyway, so forget about it. And then I just never thought about it again. So now I'm thinking about, it's more important now, especially over the past 5 or 6 years, the amount of equity that we've all gained in our homes. Also, if we've been here any amount of times, we want to protect that. Because if we're not properly insured, our equity could be wiped away with one, decent sized shake. And like you said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Well, if anybody would like to get a hold of you and either renew their policy themselves, of course, we've got the QR code up for them to already have looked at if they wanted to. But if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach you?
I can either be reached at my office, which is 661-877-9982, or you can always shoot me an email at nicole.scott@goosehead.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming and meeting with us and giving us a couple of insights into what's important right now. And I'm sure I would love to talk to you again in the next couple of months. There's so much insurance information that people have no idea about that's so beneficial that I'd love to share you with as many people, my friends and family, and everyone in the Santa Clarita community I can. So thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, talk soon. Bye.
Bye.